Heartwarming appeal, stranger agrees to pretend to be his wife for 7 days. Transformation revealed. In the small, once thriving town of Maplewood, Jake Davis felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. The garage, the laughter of his children, and the echoes of his late wife's memory filled his life. It wasn't he supposed to be like this? At 35, a single dad trying to juggle his 2 kids Sam, 6, and Lily, for he worked from dawn until dusk, a wrench forever in his hand. The economic downturn had tightened its cruel grip on Maplewood, but pride filled Jake's heart. He believed in the American dream, even when it felt just out of reach, like a distant star shimmering in the night sky. One sunny afternoon, as Jake finished fixing a rusted pickup, Emma Collins strolled into his garage, her high heels clicking against the concrete. She was a polished marketing executive from the bustling city, her confident strides contrasting sharply with Jake's rough-and-tumble demeanor. "I'm looking for a local hero," she explained with a warm smile. Jake couldn't help but chuckle at the mishap. Local hero? He was just a dad doing his best. When Emma accidentally suggested they act as a couple to promote her project, Jake hesitated, but the thought of making Sam and Lily smile through this ridiculous act tugged at him. Why not, he thought, sharing a glance with his kids who were wide-eyed with excitement. Just this once, he reassured himself. Days flew by as they shared simple dinners by candlelight, laughter echoing through the modest home. Stories, animated and heartfelt, filled the air while the kids played at their feet. Emma became enchanted by the warmth of this tight-knit community. She witnessed neighbors dropping off baked goods, watched as kids raced around the yard, and felt her heart soften at the sight. It was all so different from her high-pressure life back in the city. She never realized how the beauty of these little moments could stir something deep within her. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the local festival approached, excitement buzzed in the air. Yet, a storm brewed deep in Jake's heart when the mayor called about their happy couple act. Could he reveal the truth, risking the laughter and joy they'd built, or would he shroud their bond in deception? Every moment spent together pulled him further into a tangled web of truth and lies. The festival night arrived, vibrant with lights and laughter. As the fireflies danced around them, Jake felt fluttering joy and dread in equal measure. Right when the town rallied to celebrate their love, Emma's slip of the tongue shattered the facade. Someone gasped, and the crowd fell silent. Jake's heart raced while emotions crashed like thunder. Betrayal flashed in his eyes, and Emma felt the weight of her choices crush her. The warmth they'd built was now a fragile thread stretched to breaking. Amidst the confused murmurs of the crowd, Jake grappled with a choice. Could he forgive the girl who had drawn him and his children back into joy, yet represented everything he resented about corporate ambition? As the night thickened with uncertainty, so did the ties that bound their lives together. Would Emma summon the strength to fight for what was now blooming in her heart, or would their story dissolve in the very chaos they tried to escape? The air crackled with unanswered questions, leaving everyone poised on the edge of transformation. Jake stood frozen in the middle of the festival, the eyes of their town boring into him, questions hanging heavier than the summer humidity. Heat rumbled inside him, but it was more than anger, it was confusion and fear blending into an unbearable dread. Emma's voice echoed in his mind, "I didn't mean to." But that didn't matter now. She had just exposed their fragile game to everyone. He looked at Emma, whose cheeks had flushed with mortification. Her confident facade was shattered, replaced by a girl caught in a storm of her own making. The awkward silence of the crowd was suffocating, and every heartbeat felt like a countdown to a full-blown disaster. "What do we do now?" he whispered, forcing the question out as he glanced at Sam and Lily, who clung to his legs, oblivious to the tension but fully aware that something was wrong. The innocence in their eyes ignited the spark of protectiveness within him. He would shield them from any fallout, he had to. Emma cleared her throat, her voice trembling yet firm. "We tell them the truth," she urged, her eyes glistening. "About the project, what this was meant to be. We can still salvage this together." Jake felt a flicker of hope, but it was quickly snuffed out by doubt. Together? Could he trust her? They were in this mess because of her carelessness. But when he met her gaze, he saw sincerity buried under her well-manicured exterior. This was not just a business partnership anymore, this was raw and real. She needed him, and he couldn't leave her stranded. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward, gripping the edges of his son's small shoulders. "Okay, let us be honest," he called out, his voice steadying as it rose above the murmurs. "We haven't been living a lie, but we bent the truth for a purpose. Emma's a city gal who needed to understand the heart of Maplewood, and we thought this stunt would help her see that." The crowd shifted, whispers threading through the gathered townsfolk. Some faces showed skepticism, while others reflected understanding or even sympathy. Jake found strength amid the uncertainty, even from the shared history of every neighbor that lined the town square. "And honestly," Jake continued, feeling the warmth of the summer evening seep into his bones, "she's brought joy back into our home. She's part of our family now, if only for a little while." To his surprise, a genuine smile crept onto Emma's face, and there was something in her eyes that sparked a connection. Against all odds, she stepped up beside him, reaching for his hand. "We did create something real," she added softly, her voice earnest. "This journey changed me, and I think it changed all of us." Then Lily broke the tension, giggling as she tugged at Jake's hand, prompting a wave of laughter from the crowd. Behind the nervous faces were hearts yearning for connection. The laughter rolled through the crowd, easing the tension like a warm breeze. But even as the atmosphere lightened, Jake couldn't shake the nagging doubt. Their connection had flourished like wildflowers through cracks in pavement. There was genuine camaraderie, but he knew the clock was ticking. The pretense of their relationship was still lurking beneath the surface. All of this begged the question, could he truly allow himself to feel something for Emma? Could he risk another heartache? As the chatter blossomed around them, Jake felt a shift in the air. This was not the end of their story, it was only the beginning. The music swelled, people danced, and under the glow of twinkling lights, Jake faced Emma's hopeful gaze. The moment hung between them, fragile yet alive. What would he choose? As the festival swirled with laughter and light, the stakes shifted. Could he let this city girl into the depths of his heart? Would he find the courage to embrace everything he feared? Or would he protect himself from another loss, even if it meant letting Emma walk away? The night loomed ahead like an open road, filled with twists yet to be traversed. As the last notes of the lively music faded into the warm evening air, Jake felt a tug at his heartstrings. The laughter of the townsfolk danced around him, mingling with the scent of roasted corn and sweet funnel cakes. He smiled, but it felt wrong, like a mask he couldn't quite hold up. He turned to Emma, her eyes sparkling under the soft glow of fairy light strung around the festival. There was something in her expression, a mixture of hope and vulnerability, that made his stomach twist with uncertainty. "What happens next?" he asked, his voice low enough that only she would hear. She bit her lip, her brow furrowing as if she hadn't considered that question yet. I guess we keep moving forward." Her fingers brushed against his, sending a jolt of warmth racing through him. He instinctively stepped back, shaking off the sensation like it was a phantom touch. "Moving forward," he echoed. But to where? Was he ready to leap into the unknown with her? Every instinct told him to tread carefully. He had his children to think about. Sam and Lily deserved stability. They had already weathered too much. From the back of the crowd, a familiar voice broke through his thoughts. "Jake! Emma! Over here!" It was Mark, their old friend, waving enthusiastically as he made his way through the gathering. Mark had the easy charm of a born storyteller, always spinning tales that brought laughter. "I heard what you two did. You guys are the highlight of the night." The crowd swelled with laughter again as Mark approached, dragging a couple of neighbors along with him. Jake felt a wave of relief wash over him. Maybe they could laugh this off after all. Maybe this could slide back into the shadows of summer fun. Emma's presence beside him steadied his breathing. "That was quite a performance," Mark said with a teasing smile. "You two had everyone worried for a moment. Who knew Maplewood had its own rom-com unfolding?" Jake chuckled, though a part of him felt a twinge of discomfort. They weren't just putting on a show. They were trying to build something real among the debris of their charade. But as the evening wore on, the laughter faded, replaced by a contemplative quiet. Sam and Lily, sensing the shift in mood, nestled closer to Jake, their little heads leaning against his sides. Watching their innocent faces, he felt the pull stronger than ever. How could he take a risk with Emma when his kids depended on him to keep them safe? "Jake, I know this is all weird," Emma said softly, breaking through the weight of his thoughts. "But the last thing I'd want is for you to feel like I'm asking for too much." He appreciated her understanding, yet it pushed him into another spiral of uncertainty. What if she wasn't asking for too much? What if they both wanted more? "I don't want to hurt them," he admitted quietly, glancing down at Lily, whose eyelids were starting to droop. "Or you?" Emma smiled sadly, a gentle reassurance in her eyes. "It's not just up to you. It's up to all of us." The crowd's murmur faded into the background. Time felt suspended as Jake stared into her earnest gaze. There was weight in their shared silence, and for the first time, he contemplated the possibility of letting her in, of breaking down the wall he had built after losing so much. "Might be less of a game than we thought," Emma said finally. Her light words held an undeniable gravity that caught him off guard. Jake hesitated. If they stepped further into this, there was no turning back. Could he trust his heart again? But before he could respond, a raucous cheer erupted from the crowd around them. Sparklers lit up the night sky, blinking like stars above in celebration. A swell of joy pushed through him, and for a moment, he thought about seizing that knot of courage inside him, to turn to Emma and say what he really felt, that she wasn't just a city girl but someone who had ignited a longing within him he thought was long buried. Yet, that kernel of doubt lingered, whispering about the storm ahead. A beat later, he turned to her, determination tightening his chest. "Let us figure it out together," he said, sealing a promise he wasn't sure he could keep but desperately wanted to believe. But as he watched her face brighten, suddenly, another thought sparked in his mind. What were the motives lurking in the shadows? He worried if this was a true second chance or just a bridge to more heartbreak. Jake felt the weight of that question hang heavy over them both. In that moment, as fireworks exploded overhead, illuminating their entwined futures, the night awaited their decision, but the world was watching. Would they embrace the journey ahead or retreat into safety? The fireworks faded to embers in the sky, the laughter of the festival diminishing like the last echoes of a song. Jake stood with Emma, their lives momentarily intertwined under the fading sparkle of a summer night. The warmth of her fingers lingered against his, a reminder of the possibility they had just pledged to explore. Together he whispered again, testing the word as if hoping it would take root in his heart and grow. The taste of the promise was bittersweet, sweet for its potential but bitter for the fear of what could come next. As the last burst of color faded, Jake's gaze shifted to Sam and Lily. They were sleepy but content, nestled against him like little anchors to safety. They were his top priority, and he felt the weight of that responsibility heavier than ever. A sudden thought pinched at him: could he risk his children's happiness for a chance at his own? Mark's voice cut through the silent introspection. "Come on, let us grab some ice cream before they close the stands." He motioned for the group to follow. The cheerful energy surrounding them was infectious, drawing faces into smiles, laughter echoing like music again. "Maybe I should get them home," Jake said, hesitating slightly. His voice was colored with concern, a reminder of the relentless duty that came with being a father. Emma turned to him, her expression a mix of understanding and disappointment. "It's just ice cream, right? We can't keep running from an evening like this." It was said with a gentle nudge, a push to help him break free of his reservations. He allowed himself to be swept along by the tide of good humor, at least for one more hour. After all, ice cream had a way of making everything feel a little brighter. He took a deep breath and nodded. "Okay, just a little longer." The stands were vibrant with flavors, and as the kids picked their cones, Jake watched Emma's joy bloom. It was a sight that brought a smile to his face, this adorable woman capturing every moment as laughter slipped from her lips with each shared story. She felt like the missing piece that had been lacking in their lives. Jake tried to remind himself that these moments of joy could slip away just as quickly as they came. It was a dance between hope and fear he had been performing since his wife passed. Yet standing there, vibrating with laughter, he found that he couldn't help but lean into the warmth between them. "Chocolate fudge or lemon sorbet?" Emma asked Sam, holding two cones like it was a life-changing decision. "Lemon. It's like sunshine," Sam exclaimed with glee, and Jake caught Emma's laughter, ringing clear and true. Jake realized how precious this was, their laughter mingling in the night, a sound that wrapped around his heart. As they savored their treats, Jake felt a tender space opening within him. Every scoop of ice cream, every smile from Emma, felt like a slow unraveling of shame and fear, allowing room for hope. He could see in her bright eyes that she wanted him. Yet even as he indulged in the moment, uncertainty lingered like the last notes of a song. Could he truly let her in? Would she walk away when the weight of his responsibilities clashed with her dreams? Just as he was about to voice his reservations, a sudden hush swept over the crowd. The festival's main speaker approached with urgency, declaring an unexpected announcement. "Excuse me, folks. We have an impromptu contest. Anyone brave enough to take the stage for a chance to win a grand prize?" Kids squealed in delight. Mark leaned closer to Jake, his eyes dancing with mischief. "We should totally do it. You and Emma could have a performance of your own." Jake's pulse quickened. Part of him screamed to stay safe, to withdraw, yet another part was alive with the thrill of the unexpected. Could this moment be a catalyst for what lay ahead, the connections waiting to be forged? Emma grinned, already caught up in the excitement. "What do you say? A little fun before the night ends?" As Jake looked into her eager eyes, the urge to escape everything else battled against the urge to embrace. Uncertainty. So, he held out his hand, breathless at how heavy the moment felt. "Let us do it," he said, inching closer to a choice that could change everything. But as they moved toward the stage, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that this leap could uncover more secrets than he was prepared for. What awaited them on that stage could either spark joy or ignite fear. Stepping onto the stage felt like entering another world. The bright lights beamed down, a dazzling spotlight illuminating Emma's carefree smile and the mischievous glint in Mark's eyes. Jake hesitated for just a moment, his hands still clasping Emma's, as the crowd's murmurs enveloped him like a warm cocoon. "Welcome, everyone." The speaker gestured dramatically, earning a cheer from the audience. "Tonight, we're looking for teams ready to show us their skills. Don't worry, this is all in good fun. Just have a great time." Jake's heart raced. Fun was one thing, this felt like diving headfirst into a whirlwind. Beside him, Emma squeezed his hand tighter, her excitement contagious. Their connection sparkled in the charged atmosphere, and for a moment, doubt flickered away. "Let us go," she encouraged, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. "We can do this." With a quick nod to Mark, who was nudging them toward the center of the stage, Jake felt the crowd's gaze fix on them. The laughter, the cheers, it all combined into a powerful force pushing them forward. "What skills do we have?" Emma asked, her voice laced with laughter as they reached the microphone. "We could sing," Jake suggested half-heartedly, his gut twisting. "But I can't sing, not anymore." Emma's laughter rang out, brightening the atmosphere further. "Then let us perform. You could tell a story or share a memory. Now that I can do." The idea lingered in his mind to share something meaningful. "Tell us a story." The speaker encouraged, and the crowd cheered, excitement rippling through the air. Jake swallowed hard, drawing in a shaky breath. "All right then." He glanced at Emma, who nodded with encouragement. He could share the story about the summer he met his late wife, about how they fell in love at a summer fair just like this one. As he began to speak, memories swirled through him like ghosts. He described the bustling crowd, the laughter, a beautiful summer night where everything felt perfect. Jake spoke of first kisses shared under the stars and how love blossomed like the fireworks in the sky. He watched as Emma listened intently, her eyes wide with empathy, and suddenly he was transported back to a time when joy was all that mattered. Just as he finished, he heard a few sniffs from the crowd and felt a lump forming in his throat. "Beauty in our stories," the speaker said, his voice smooth and inviting, "can heal wounds we thought would never mend." Jake's heart ached at the truth of it. Could he truly share his past while reaching for a new future? The performance had turned into therapy more than entertainment. Yet, the warmth radiating from Emma reminded him he was not alone. She grinned, and that quick spark of connection felt like an unspoken promise of support. "Don't forget to bring the audience along," she whispered, nudging him gently. Marked by the energy of the moment, Jake decided to pull the crowd into the memory. "Let us walk this path together. Can you remember those moments? The laughter of time spent with loved ones. The joy. It doesn't fade, it transforms, doesn't it?" The crowd resonated with his sentiment, nodding along, a wave of shared memories washing over them. A few voices chimed in with their own snippets, fueling the warmth rising around them. As Jake continued, he felt something shift within. Vulnerability cracked open a space inside for hope. He knew he wasn't just sharing a story anymore, he was beginning to heal. When they wrapped up, the applause rang louder than the fireworks that had lit the night sky hours before. Jake looked down at Emma, their hands still clasped tightly. While he breathed, astonished by the connection they forged together, how the stage had transformed fear into something sacred. "See," Emma said, breathing in the moment. "This is the beginning of something wonderful." But just as Jake began to envision a future woven with laughter and hope, the night's magic held a surprise. The speaker approached once more. "Congratulations. The winner of our heartwarming contest is the couple that touched our hearts with a beautiful story." Jake felt his breath hitch. Were they truly being recognized? But before he could process the news, the speaker continued. "Oh, and we'd love for you two to come back next week for a special showcase of talent." With the laughter and cheer swelling around them, Jake felt that familiar weight of uncertainty creep back in. What did this mean for their future? And could he handle whatever path their story might take next? As Jake and Emma shared stunned smiles, excitement mixed with trepidation. Their journey was just beginning. Would he dare take the next step? The moment hung in the air, electric and surreal. Jake looked at Emma's beaming face, and for the first time, uncertainty felt a little lighter. It wasn't just about the recognition, it was about the bond they created on that stage. "We're going to do this, right?" Emma's voice danced with enthusiasm. "I mean, we have to," he chuckled, unable to suppress the grin painting his face. "But it's not just another show. This is a chance, isn't it? A chance for something more." "Absolutely." She nudged him playfully, her excitement growing infectious. "Think of the stories we could create together." As they stepped down from the stage, the crowd began to dissipate, but the vibrant energy lingered. The bright lights dimmed, and conversations erupted around them. The night had drawn strangers closer, turning warmth into familiarity. Jake felt a gentle tug as Emma led him through the crowd, her laughter bubbling like champagne. It felt familiar yet new, like stepping into soft, uncharted waters. What's the plan for next week? Emma asked, grinning from ear to ear. Well, I guess we could brainstorm some ideas. He suggested, his hands nervously fidgeting. Maybe something light. Funny. Emma raised an eyebrow. How about we tell our story? Not just yours, but ours. I mean, we've just kicked off this wild adventure, right? The thought sent a thrill through him. They had shared a moment, a brief connection forged from vulnerability and openness, but now, they would push that boundary even further. Okay. Let us be honest. How does this work, sharing our story? He scrutinized her expression, searching for reassurance. Well, she started, pausing briefly to think, we both have our own pasts, our tales to tell. But now, they're merging into something new. It's messy, but it's real. Emma's eyes sparkled with something more possibility. And he felt that creeping excitement he'd chased away since losing his wife. It was crazy. It felt like jumping off a cliff, ready to embrace the unknown. As they chatted, Jake began to envision all the ways they could intertwine their stories. He could share his fears of moving forward, while Emma could open up about finding herself again in the echoes of laughter. Their dual perspectives could resonate, creating a comfort within the uncertainty. I can't believe this is happening, Jake murmured, half to himself. I didn't plan for any of this. Emma turned to him, her eyes softened with empathy. Sometimes, the most beautiful things happen unexpectedly. We just have to trust the journey. Her words struck a chord deep within him. Trust. That word felt heavy, saturated with all that he had lost and a flicker of hope waiting to be nurtured. When the evening wrapped up, and they found themselves standing outside under the stars, Jake realized how vibrant the night felt. The cool breeze brushed against their skin, carrying the promise of something beautiful ahead. So, what do we do now? He asked, uncertainties hovering like shadows at the edges of his excitement. Well, we make it official. Emma declared, her laughter ringing like music. You and me, partners in crime. Let us write this next chapter together, but first, you have to promise me something. Anything, he replied, tense with anticipation. Let us not just stay in the past. Let us create new memories, no matter how silly or serious they might be. Jake felt the warmth of her hand in his, as inviting as a warm fire on a winter night. The weight in his chest began to lift. Okay, he nodded, feeling a smile grow wider. Let us do it. New memories it is. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but tonight felt like the start of an adventure, bright and uncharted. And, as they stood together in the dim light, a spark ignited within Jake. He wanted to move forward, not just for himself but alongside Emma. As if sensing his thoughts, Emma leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. What if we set ourselves a challenge? You know, to experience something new every day this week. Jake met her gaze, the excitement sparking like firecrackers inside him. That sounds amazing, he breathed. I'm in. But are you ready for what that might bring? Emma's smile brightened, illuminating the night around them. Bring it on. With a racing heart and the burning thrill of the unknown, Jake took a deep breath. What would they discover together? Just how far would love, friendship, and new beginnings take them? The sun peeked over the horizon, casting a golden glow that spilled across Jake's bedroom. The day felt fresh, full of potential. He blinked awake, eyes landing on Emma's playful message from last night, remember, new adventure starts today. His heart raced with a blend of excitement and anxiety. What would they face in the next 7 days? Was he brave enough for this challenge? Jake jumped from bed, splashing cold water on his face, hoping to wash away the lingering doubts. After breakfast, he typed a quick message to Emma. Ready for our first adventure? His thumbs hesitated over the screen. What if it turned awkward? What if his past weighed too heavily on both of them? He didn't have to wait long. Absolutely. Meet me at the cafe in an hour. As he stepped outside, the crisp morning air enveloped him. Truthfully, he felt shaky, like a tightrope walker at the edge of an abyss. But then he remembered Emma's laughter, how it sparked joy within him like sunlight on water. Whatever the week brought, he'd face it with her. Arriving at the cafe, Jake spotted Emma sitting at a corner table, her smile brightening his nervousness. She waved, a motion elegant and welcoming. "Hi," she sang, standing up to embrace him. "Today, we're going to sign up for that pottery class we saw last week." He chuckled, surprised. "I thought it would be something wilder. Like skydiving." Emma tilted her head, consideration deepening her brow. "We could. But pottery is all about creativity and getting messy. It's a good start for new memories, right?" "Okay, let us do it," he agreed, feeling her enthusiasm pull him along. Their first class was filled with laughter, as well as a fair bit of clumsiness. Clay smeared their hands and faces, while stray laughter leaked into the air like fresh paint. As Jake attempted a wobbly vase, he glanced at Emma, who sculpted a lopsided bowl. "Isn't this amazing?" she yelled over the sound of spinning wheels. "It's definitely a challenge." Jake grinned, his heart warm. By the end of the class, his frustration faded into satisfaction. As they admired their creations, a bumpy vase and a bowl that looked like it had seen better days, Emma beamed at him. "Look at what we made. Together." He was struck by her joy, that fierce, beautiful light that seemed to envelop them both. In that moment, amid the chaos of clay-covered hands and playful banter, he felt a shift. Maybe this week could help him heal. Maybe new memories could be built, not just from laughter, but from the simple act of sharing experiences. Later, sitting in a nearby park, the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. "What's next for us?" Emma mused, stealing glances at the flask of lemonade they shared. "A hike? Karaoke? Or something even crazier?" Jake chuckled, his spirit lifting. "Karaoke? I'd probably scare off the birds." "Adventure is about stepping outside your comfort zone," she urged. "What's your favorite childhood memory? Let us recreate it." He paused, memories swirling in his mind. "Fishing with my dad, early mornings by the lake, it felt magical. A calm before life got complicated." "Let us do that, then," Emma exclaimed, her excitement bubbling over. "Early tomorrow fishing adventure." As he gazed into her fiery eyes, determination coursed through him. Would this really lead to healing? Could these shared moments spark something deeper between them? The night whispered promises, yet Jake grappled with uncertainty. Could he afford to let his heart open again? Emma reached out, placing her hand over his. "Let us see how far this journey takes us. Just trust me." "Trust right," he murmured, feeling the warmth of her hand seep into him, igniting the sparks of hope. Tomorrow awaited with open arms. What transformations lay in store? The dawn broke with a soft light, shining through Jake's window and wrapping around him like a warm blanket. Today was the day. He could almost hear the gentle lapping of water against the shore of the lake in his mind. The thought ignited a mix of excitement and apprehension. Would it be as magical as he remembered? After a quick breakfast of toast and coffee, nothing fancy, he packed a small cooler with sandwiches and drinks, all the essentials. Nestling his fishing gear against the back seat of his old car, he couldn't shake the flutter in his stomach. He hoped today wouldn't reveal just how rusty his fishing skills had become. When he arrived at the park, the morning mist hovered over the lake, giving it an ethereal quality. It felt like a scene from a movie, one that promised change. Jake stepped out and spotted Emma, her figure illuminated by the rising sun, skipping stones at the edge of the water. "Hey, fisherman!" she called out, her grin infectious. "Ready to catch the big one?" Jake chuckled, feeling a surge of warmth at her enthusiasm. "Absolutely. But fair warning, the fish might be more afraid than I am. They settled at a spot, spreading out the supplies. Jake handed Emma a fishing rod, and together they began to bait their hooks. As they chatted about their hopes for the day, he noticed how easily they fell into a rhythm, laughter flowing between them like the gentle current of the lake. Casting their lines into the shimmering water, moments turned into quiet reflections. As he watched the bobbers dance on the surface, Jake felt some of his past burdens ease slightly. Each ripple in the water seemed to wash away another worry. Emma suddenly broke the silence. What did you love most about this when you were a kid? Jake's fingers grazed the cool surface of the water as he thought. The patience, he confessed. Sitting still, waiting for something to happen, letting life unfold. It taught me to enjoy the moment. Sounds like you could use that now, she said playfully. Always rushing towards the next thing. Maybe it's time to reel it in. He smiled at her insight, realizing she was right. Maybe this adventure was about more than just fishing. Maybe it was about reconnecting with himself as well. They continued casting their lines, exchanging stories of childhood favorites, the mischief they would get into, the dreams they had that seemed so far away. As the sun climbed higher, Emma squealed, "I think I've got one." The line tugged fiercely, dragging her pole toward the water. Jake jumped up, adrenaline rush coursing through him. "Okay, careful," he shouted, rushing to her side. "It's a big one." Emma fought with determination, her laughter echoing across the lake. With a mighty heave, she pulled a fish into the air, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. Jake's heart swelled as he watched the thrill dance in her eyes. "Look at you, professional angler," he exclaimed. But just as quickly, her expression shifted. A wistful look drifted across her face. "You know, I didn't expect to feel this happy today. I've felt lost for so long." "Me too," he admitted softly, their gazes locking. "But maybe we're discovering ourselves, piece by piece." As they laughed, sharing the little victories over small fish, Jake felt a change within. But buried beneath the lightness was a nagging fear. Could he truly let go of the past? Would this week with Emma heal parts of him that had been long neglected? The sun dipped lower, painting the sky in breathtaking shades of blue and gold. Just as they were packing up, he considered their upcoming adventures. What if they dared to reach deeper, challenge each other more? "Hey, Emma," he called out slowly, a sense of urgency building. "What if tomorrow we do something even crazier? Crazier than fishing?" She teased, eyes sparkling with mischief. He smiled, a mix of hope and apprehension tugging at him. "Yeah, I mean, you said adventure was about stepping out of our comfort zones, right?" "Bring it on," she replied confidently. The anticipation hung in the air like a promise, but in Jake's heart, a small seed of doubt remained. What would they discover about themselves? And what would this crazy adventure reveal? Something told him he was on the brink of something transformative. What awaited around the corner would challenge everything they knew. The next morning, the sun broke through the trees earlier than Jake expected. The birds were chirping their early morning symphony, and he lay in bed, anticipation bubbling inside him. What did he really mean by crazier? A vague idea teetered on the edge of his mind, but nothing seemed quite right until he remembered Emma's adventurous spirit. After a quick breakfast, he grabbed his phone, tapping to send her a message. "Ready for our adventure? Meet me at the old barn at noon." The old barn stood near the lake, a place filled with memories from his childhood. They used to spend afternoons there, running wild with friends, dreaming of big things. He hoped it still held that magic, but with a hint of a new twist. As he drove, Jake envisioned what he wanted to propose. It might sound absurd, but part of him craved even more connection with Emma. When the clock struck noon, Emma arrived, her face adorned with curiosity. "So what's the big surprise?" Jake took a deep breath. "You know how we've talked about stepping out of our comfort zones?" "Uh-huh," she replied, a teasing smile dancing on her lips. Well, what if we pretend to be married just for a week? You know, like a temporary thing. She raised an eyebrow, skepticism dancing in her eyes. You mean like a role play? Exactly. Just for fun. We could take some goofy photos, do some silly couple things. It'll be a great way to let loose and maybe even find out more about ourselves in the process. Emma paused, her gaze piercing through him, making him feel vulnerable. Jake, are you serious? I mean, why not? It could be hilarious. We can create some crazy stories for the future. After a moment, her face broke into a wide grin. You know what? I'm in. But only if we can act completely ridiculous. Deal. He laughed, feeling the fluttering excitement. They spent the day in a flurry of activities, embracing the ridiculousness wholeheartedly. They snapped goofy selfies with fake smiles and exaggerated poses, their laughter echoing in the quiet of the barn. Jake couldn't remember the last time he felt this light. Emma was infectious, and together they staged silly couple scenes that left them doubled over in laughter. What would you say if someone asked how you proposed? She asked, rolling her eyes dramatically. Well, I'd probably say I took her to the most romantic spot I could think of, he said, playing along. And what was that? A fishing trip? Hey! Fish and love are both about patience. As they continued their antics, Jake noticed a shift within himself. The laughter felt liberating. With each silly act, he felt lighter. Maybe this journey was about rediscovering joy, savoring not just the beautiful moments, but the absurd ones too. Emma matched his energy, and he could see her walls crumbling just like his. As sunset painted the sky in rich orange and purple hues, they sat outside the barn, feeling the weight of what they'd just begun. But behind their light-hearted banter loomed unspoken thoughts. Could they keep up this pretense? Could it lead them to truly discover something deeper? With the evening chill in the air, he turned to Emma. What if we dive deeper tomorrow? She tilted her head, curiosity evident. Deeper how? He leaned closer, a secret thrill igniting between them. Let us make today the beginning of something outrageous tomorrow. We go all out. Outrageous, huh? I can't wait to hear what you've got in mind. She replied, mischief sparkling in her eyes. Jake smiled, excitement intertwining with trepidation. What awaited them in this unexpected joint venture? And would they survive the chaos they had created? As the stars began to twinkle overhead, a sense of uncertainty simmered beneath the surface, whispering of both possibilities and fears for what lay ahead. The next morning arrived, bright and full of promise. As Jake stepped into the kitchen, the scent of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, instantly easing his nerves. Today would be different, something exhilarating and maybe even daunting. He shot a quick text to Emma, heart racing as he typed, ready for our outrageous adventure? Meet me at the carnival at 11. Excitement bubbled inside him, but so did anxiety. What if they couldn't maintain the spark they had found? But as quickly as the worry surfaced, Jake banished it. This week was about stepping outside their comfort zones, and he refused to let fear hold him back. The carnival, with its colors and scents, greeted him like a burst of joy. The vibrant banners danced in the wind, and the laughter of children filled the air, urging him to seize the day. Moments later, Emma arrived, her eyes wide with gleeful anticipation. Jake! This is amazing! What are we doing first? She exclaimed, bouncing on her toes. We're headed for the funhouse. He grinned and took her hand, excited to lead her through the maze of mirrors and flashing lights. Inside, the reflections distorted their appearances, making them look silly and exaggerated. As they stumbled around, shrieking with laughter at their warped images, Jake felt a delightful freedom sweep over him. Emma's uninhibited spirit was infectious, each peal of laughter melting away the heaviness he had carried for too long. When they finally stumbled out, both breathless and wide-eyed, Jake pulled her close. You know, this isn't just a crazy charade for fun, it feels like I'm getting to know you on a whole new level. Emma smiled softly, brushing her hair behind her ear. Exactly. It's like every silly moment adds a new layer to our connection. As the day advanced, they explored the carnival together, sharing cotton candy, challenging each other to games, and competing on carnival rides. With each experience, their laughter rang louder, and the weight of the past began to feel lighter. Let us go on the Ferris wheel, Emma suggested, her voice rising with excitement. We can see the whole carnival from up there. All right, but only if you promise I won't scream like a child. He laughed, teasing her. The ride gently lifted them into the sky, the colorful lights below twinkling like stars. High above the carnival, Jake felt an exhilarating rush of emotions mingled with fear, a reminder of everything they hadn't shared yet. As they reached the top, Emma turned to him, her expression sincere. Jake, I know we started this as a game, but I feel something real here. Can you sense it? He took a moment, searching her soft gaze, realizing he had, indeed, felt a deep connection growing. I do. I never expected this week would mean so much. But I still carry a lot of baggage. Me too. We can share it together, she replied, determination in her eyes. The ride slowly descended, and at the bottom, Jake took a deep breath. Let us promise to be open with each other, then. No more pretending. Agreed, she said, nodding fiercely. The day rolled on, filled with laughter, games and sweet moments. But as they left the carnival behind, the shadows of doubt crept back in. Could they truly face the realities of life once the week ended? What if this was just an escape from their worries? That night, they found themselves back at the barn, cuddled up under a blanket of stars. Emotions ran high as they reminisced about the day's adventures. Jake, Emma started softly, the flicker of candles illuminating her face. What now? What happens when the week is over? He felt a lump rise in his throat, his palms were clammy. I don't know, he admitted, his heart pounding. I fear that everything we've created could fade. But Emma took his hand, squeezing firmly. Just because this week ends doesn't mean our connection has to. We have to keep trying whatever it looks like. Her words calmed him like a soothing balm, and he realized how much he wanted this to keep the momentum, to face the fear of loss and the fear of the future. Okay, he replied, a newfound resolve building in his chest. Let us keep this going. We can figure it out, one crazy adventure at a time. As they shared a quiet smile, a comfortable silence wrapped around them. It was the calm before the storm that awaited their next challenge, but Jake felt ready. Whatever lay ahead, he wouldn't face it alone. Emma, with her laughter and warmth, had become a beacon of hope, illuminating the path he had once thought lost in darkness. The night surrendered to the stars above, and with it, the promise of more adventures yet to come, each moment weaving them closer together. And together, they would face the transformations awaiting them, their hearts now fully open to whatever came next. As the dawn broke on their final adventure, Jake realized they had both transformed. It wasn't just about pretending to be married. It was about becoming partners on this unpredictable journey called life. And that was a story worth sharing with the world. Now, listen up. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Click the bell and tap the notifications. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support matters more than you know. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. I want to hear from you. And don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. You'll be their guiding light.